And I think that'd be one start, but there's other issues that I'd like to discuss too, because as I said, it's not just protecting us, but it's also protecting those that are in uniform and those that are out of uniform. Mm-hmm. And I brought up some serious security concerns to which I see are just major holes. And so before I really get into the budget questions, I want to know if you believe we should have like a complete wholesale review of the Senate security posture. And if you do, if you'd commit working with me and working with others on actually evaluating not just what we've always done, but what we can do different.
Yes, Senator, I look forward to partnering with you in that effort. I think 4 years after January 6th and additional resources, it is an appropriate time to take a look at our campus security posture, see what additional vulnerabilities we need to address, and perhaps changes that we need to make to our visitor management system in order to keep senators, staff, and our visitors who are here in the building safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Liberty Watchtower, where truth takes center stage. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a dose of real, unfiltered truth. As we face a $37 trillion national debt, this is a tough budget year for all of us. Every request must be justified, and we have to make smart, responsible decisions. But even with tight finances, we cannot overlook two critical needs: the security of everyone in and around the Capitol, and the technology that keeps Senate offices running.
Thank you both for being here. Miss Simuay, I'd like to start with you. You know, when we start looking at the budget, obviously there's a lot of concerns because everybody's got to have a haircut at this point. It's hard to find anything that we can increase because we have a $37 trillion deficit and growing. At the same time, we've got to make sure that those that are visiting the Capitol and those that work here are also safe along the ways. And so we all have different, things we've got to look at. Talking about safety, I recently had an opportunity to speak with your Deputy Jason Bell, and I brought up some serious security concerns to which I see are just major holes. And so before I really get into the budget questions, I want to know if you believe we should have like a complete wholesale review of the Senate security posture. And if you do, if you'd commit working with me and working with others on actually evaluating not just what we've always done, but what we can do different.
Yes, Senator, I look forward to partnering with you in that effort. I think 4 years after January 6th and additional resources, it is an appropriate time to take a look at our campus security posture, see what additional vulnerabilities we need to address, and perhaps changes that we need to make to our visitor management system in order to keep senators, staff, and our visitors who are here in the building safe.
Right. And one concern, there's multiple concerns, and one I'll just air out here that I have is, during votes, the plaza is wide open. And there's not a more vulnerable time than when members are getting out of their vehicles, walking to their cars. We were told that at one time that the plaza would be closed when the votes were called. The problem is you can go out there right now when the vote's called and the plaza's not closed. People are all over it. People are going through with baby strollers, riding their bikes across with backpacks, carrying backpacks, carrying suitcases, and we understand what can easily be concealed in those. And I want the American people to have access to their capital as much as anyone. But at the same time, we know there's a huge threat, especially a growing threat on public figures that are in public offices. And I think there needs to be a serious look at what we do at the plaza during votes, regardless if the House or the Senate's open, because you can't just close half of it because people continue to walk and continue to ride bikes. And I think that'd be one start. But there's other issues that I'd like to discuss too, because as I said, it's not just protecting us, but it's also protecting those that are in uniform and those that are out of uniform. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for that. Can you explain to us the demand for personal offices and committees for additional funding for their technology needs?
Yes, thank you for the question. So this year we are asking for an additional $3.2 million increase for the Economic Allocation Fund. The Economic Allocation Fund provides money to Senate offices and committees at the beginning of each senator's term or the start of a committee. Leadership and the institutional offices also receive that same funding at the start of their term. If you take a look back to 6 years and think about when a senator may have started, at that point, a laptop cost $600. That same laptop today costs on average $1,500. We now have staff and senators who are increasingly reliant on technology in order to do their work, and that trend will only continue. Coming out of COVID, many of us carry multiple devices. We now have a desktop, we have a laptop, we have a tablet, and we may have multiple phones. So all of that taken together has led to an increase in demand combined with increased prices, and this increase will help ensure that Senate offices can have the equipment that they need and require.
Thank you. And Ms. Simuay, I do realize that the Senate continues to ask you for, ask your offices to do more and more and take on more and more responsibilities. With that being said, with a tough budget year, can you kind of send me your priorities? What are the must-dos?
Yes, my top 3 priorities are the $5 million increase that we request for our Office of Security and Emergency Preparedness, and that will respond directly to increased threats against members. Last year, it was an election year, but we saw an 83% increase in threats against members of Congress and a 38% increase in directions of interest. My second priority is the Economic Allocation Fund that we just discussed, along with a $2 million increase for the Sergeant at Arms to buy Microsoft Enterprise licenses. Right now, using available funds, we have bought those licenses for Senate offices this year. We'd like the funding in order to continue. My third priority is the $5.5 million State Office Operations Fund that I discussed. It would allow us to pay rents if regular appropriations were not available, and also to ensure that we can more quickly accomplish leasehold improvements to Senate state offices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Murray.
Thank you very much, Chair Mullin. Senator Heinrich.
We've seen rising threats against public officials. One serious concern is the lack of restrictions around the plaza during Senate votes, when members are most exposed. That needs to change. Ms. Simuay, I hope you'll commit to a full review of our campus security posture. We'll also discuss funding needs for updated technology and support for state offices. These investments are not optional. They're essential to our ability to work safely and effectively.